Kevin Burkhardt, Jay Glazer, LeVar Arrington, Bucky Brooks tonight on Fox Sports Radio Draft Night Live. Jay Glazer, Fox Sports Insider, is now going to join us live. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. I like it. It's hope. It's optimism. You know, there's so much negativity in the world. The draft to me always feels so hopeful, so optimistic. You change lives. I love draft night.
So what? Wait, by the way, why did you just introduce us like someone ran your dog over? You're like, Jay Glazer, Kevin Burkhardt, LeVar Arrington. Can we have a little love? I mean, come on, man. It's draft day. A little excitement, Colin.
Draft night live on Fox Sports Radio. So I have a theory on this, Jay.
Hey, by the way, here, look at my notes. This is like cramming in like college and high. I mean, here's my notes. Here's my notes with Joel Klatt. Like, man, it's like the draft is great when you have ADD because you got so much stuff to do, but the draft's bad when you have ADD because you don't remember half the crap you write down.
Do we know whether or not you know who the Niners are picking? Do you believe they know who they're picking at 3? You do.
So here's what happened. On Friday, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, they got their guy. But they said, let's go home and sleep on it. Let's go make sure, and let's see on Monday if we're just as convicted. They came in Monday, we're like, we're convicted. That's our guy. So, yeah, they've known who their guy is going to be since last Friday, probably before that also. But you know what happens? This is paralysis by overanalysis. Like this whole time, Patrick Surtain's been one of the cleanest, most reliable guys you can have in this draft, right? And then the guy who's probably shot the most in the last week is J.C. Horn, who's the corner from South Carolina. But what's happening, you want to talk about paralysis by overanalysis, it was clear-cut. Surtain's the number one corner for all these weeks. Now all of a sudden guys start going, man, he's so clean. He's so perfect. Maybe he's hit his ceiling. Or a guy like J.C. Horn has more room to grow. I mean, think of how backwards that is. That somebody could be too perfect and too clean, right? For only one of the 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah. No, it's real. I remember Andrew Luck before he got drafted. There was all his arm's not that great. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be Elway. It's good enough. He's going to be fine. Yeah. So let's talk about Garoppolo. And I've said this. Listen, man, they gave a second-round pick for him, Jay. He's been more than worth the compensation. Couldn't I just make an argument? Whatever quarterback you take, just keep Jimmy around, maybe to the trading deadline, even if you love Mac Jones. Jay opens up against Seattle and Pete Carroll. He's going to be a little overwhelmed. Couldn't you argue you keep Garoppolo around at least until the trading deadline instead of rushing to trade him?
When I talked to them yesterday, they were pretty sure that Jimmy'd still be on the team. Like that was okay. But it's interesting what happens because you hear New England so much. New England with Jimmy Garoppolo, and when do we ever really know what New England's going to do? So it's almost like New England's trying to manufacture it to put pressure on the 49ers to trade him over to the Patriots. It's just, again, this is the time of year. It's nonstop subterfuge.
You know, Jay, listen, I like both Trey Lance and Justin Fields. I think they're terrific kids. I think they're big, fast, big arm. I like them both. I don't feel like nitpicking them. If I asked you, Jay, and you don't have to tell me the people, but if you asked 10 GMs, because I hear various stories, is Trey Lance or Justin Fields in this moment, as we pick them all apart, which one has more GMs that like him today?
Probably Trey Lance.
Okay.
I would think. But I agree with you. I love both those guys, probably over Mac. Man, I really like both those guys. I just think the upside, what they could do. And, you certainly can't question Ohio State's toughness. Oh, my God, right? And, he's the type of guy, he's so athletic that he could use his legs to obviously extend plays, but he uses them to extend plays to keep getting after you in the passing game, which a lot of these quarterbacks don't do these days. Once they see it opening, they tuck it and they go.
Right.
So he's a legit dual threat. The one thing about Trey Lance, I mean, he is, I've asked a couple of guys. The guy's never run a 2-minute drill. So I said, how do you find out how he is in adversity? Because he's never run a 2-minute drill. And they said, well, you got to ask him other things, ask him about life, things like that. And they fell in love with the kid's makeup and then what his upside is also. I think both these guys are man, they're really, if you get them around the right people, they could do a lot of damage in this league.
That's what I feel. I tell me where they land on Monday or by tomorrow, and then I can tell you how they'll do. But I think they're both unbelievable candidates. Now, It is interesting. There were stories, Jay, and I am a believer that Atlanta doesn't need a quarterback. I kind of feel like Matt Ryan right now is the one thing I do trust, and I do think with Arthur Smith, I think this is gonna work. It's gonna be nice. I like their O-line. I like the receivers. So I get the Kyle Pitts thing. But there have been stories that the GM wants a quarterback and the coach, he wants Kyle Pitts.
No.
So you tell me the truth. What are you hearing?
They've been on the same page here. They've been on the same page. But I called one of them the other day, and I said, I called somebody in the Falcons. I said, if you don't take Kyle Pitts, I'm going to low leg kick you. I mean, this guy is so ridiculous. So here's the one thing that people agree on in the draft. There's 2 generational talents in this draft. 2. One is Trevor Lawrence, and one is that guy, Kyle Pitts. And, I talked to, who was the coach yesterday? I talked to a head coach yesterday, and I said, tell me about, what's your thought on Kyle Pitts? And he said, if he came out as a receiver, he might be the number 1 receiver in this draft, the top X in this draft. He's obviously the top tight end, but he said he's not a tight end and he's not a receiver. I said, what do you mean? He said, he's a weapon. He's just different. He's a mismatch problem. I asked one head coach who's got a great corner on his team. I said, could you put that guy on him one-on-one? He said, I could, but I wouldn't feel good about it. He presents that kind of problem, almost like Calvin Johnson playing tight end, right? He's like Calvin playing tight end. He's just such a mismatch, and there's so many things you could do with him. I think Atlanta, man, they can't pass up on him. Yeah, no,
I do think, and that's my feeling, is I think O-line for Atlanta is actually pretty good. I think their receivers are interesting. Matt's going to get upgraded with an offensive coach. Kyle Pitts, that is a great offense. Now, a team that's
you can get a quarterback in the second round here also.
Yeah. Now, Jay, a team that I can't quite get my arms around. I love Brian Flores. They won 10 games last year with 2 and Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love where they're going, defense, special teams. But they have upgraded their wide receiving core in free agency. Okay? And at number 6, if Cincinnati takes Jamar Chase, and I'm sure Joe Burrow is lobbying hard for that, does Miami keep rebuilding the O-line receiver? Do you have a feeling on Miami at all?
Yeah, I think they go whichever one Cincinnati doesn't take.
Okay.
And Cincinnati has Sewell and even Slater's kind of in the mix, but really Sewell and Chase. And whichever one they don't go, then they're sitting right there at Miami. But listen, I love the receivers in this draft. I love both Alabama guys. Obviously, Chase. I'm a huge Devonta Smith guy. Huge. I mean, just how his teammates react to him. He's one of those guys. He's going to come in the NFL. And look, for all the college kids out there, whatever you did in college, okay, it's not good enough for this level. You got to do more. You got to figure out. You have to evolve. And a lot of college guys come into the league like, I'm good. What I did in college is going to work here. It's just not how it is. You got to figure out ways to elevate. And that's why we hear about people's work ethic on this level and how they elevate. A guy like Devonta Smith, he'll work that hard on this next level. So I love him. So I think Miami's sitting good where they have both those receivers. They'll have, one of the 2 tackles to choose from, but those are the positions that they got to go for.
Finally, is there a team, and I don't know your confidence level, I kind of feel like New England's going to move up, but I don't have the sourcing you do. Is there a team, do you think, and by the way, it could be Washington. I'm not saying top 10.
The Saints are trying to get in the top 10.
That's what I heard last night. By the way, I heard that.
The Saints are trying to get in the top 10.
Yep, that's what I heard last night. So the Saints are the team you think is going to move up?
I don't know, because here's the thing. There's such a drop-off after a certain number. There's when you look at them, there's 3 receivers who are in that, bam. After that, there's a little drop-off. There's 2 corners. After that, bam, there's a drop-off. There's only a couple, probably 3 offensive linemen. After that, there's a drop-off. So I don't know, how much a team would want to drop all the way down. If I'm maybe a team like Miami, who we've seen do this already, but man, we already know the trade they made to get there. I don't know how many are going to want to trade all the way down. The one thing I will say is this is the draft that you want to pick in the 2nd and 3rd round for, right? This is just a different draft, man. It's you had guys, you didn't have a combine, you didn't have a season for a lot of guys last year to look at in a league where they get so freaked out when they don't have enough information. There certainly hasn't been as much information this year as last year and what I say here is that, look, there's guys who played 2 years ago at, let's say, 240 pounds. Now they're 270, 275. You don't know how their bodies work at 275, right? So, and I get why a lot of these kids opted out. I totally get that and completely understand. But it's hard to say, okay, well, we really love this kid at 240. He's 275. He looks like he's going to be 290. And you only really have his pro day to go off of. So it's just a different draft.
By the way, I not only heard New Orleans wants to move up, I heard they want to move up to take a corner, is what I was told. That's what I
think they're looking for defensive help, yeah.
All right. Jay Glazer, good stuff, buddy. Tonight, draft night live, Fox Sports Radio, 8 Eastern. Jay, Bucky Brooks, LeVar Arrington, Kevin Burkhardt, big energy. Good stuff. That is good stuff.